Hello everyone, Shadefyre here, and welcome to another Elden Ring Adventures. Pretty far into the game now, about 45 hours I think, and I've kind of hit a point where I've explored as much of the map as I can access, right up to the doors of the capital city, only for the door itself, there's a tough boss guarding the door, but then you get to the door itself and it's like, hey, you need at least 2 great runes to come through here, and I've only got the one from Godric. So, at this point, I need to start hunting down the shard bearers, which are, some of the big bosses scattered around the maps. I think there's one down here in Redmane Castle, and possibly another one over here somewhere. I think there's one actually underneath Caelid. I've still tried not to spoil anything that I haven't done yet, but, I've brushed up against some of it when I'm trying to just find out where certain, pathways are. But yeah, there's one there. There's definitely one here in Volcano Manor, and I think there was 2 of them here in Liurna, one in Royal Knight, the Mage Academy, and the other one is going to be possibly where we're going today, which is the Caria Manor, where all of the wealthy wizard nobles lived. So, it's going to be a more focused adventure because we're going into, I think this counts as one of the legacy dungeons, which are just their way of saying, big fancy dungeon areas instead of the smaller caves. Also, someone is shooting magic at me as I try to approach this. I didn't get close enough to actually find out the source. This is about as close as I've gotten to the manor, because I was like, that'd probably be a good exploration of its own. And I don't think we're going to finish the manor or, 100% it in this video or anything. It's just going to be my initial exploration of the manor. God, I just want to read this text. I mean, that magic actually doesn't do that much damage. Resting place of something cuckoos. Anyway, let's get in here where hopefully they'll stop casting on me. That's probably somewhat up on the wall that doesn't respawn. So I've at least got some decent looking armor now, except for the feet. I hate the feet on these legs, but they're the best legs I have. But yeah, I like this clean rot armor, which gives you basically a boosted resistance to all status effects, so that's been pretty handy. And it's actually strong armor, it's not just beneficial. So, considering this is the mage, rich mage home, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of spellcasters in here. Liurna itself has been an area full of magic damage, and I don't really have the best resistance to magic damage. I'm also okay, that is a lot of fingers. Many, many fingers. That is just a giant hand. However, I am pretty strong now. I've been running into a decent stretch where, most things are not giving me trouble, I say, as this hand almost kills me. But I've also run into some bosses that are actually pretty rough, including the Guardian of the capital city. There's another one I still haven't beat up here. He is a really rough character with a floating sword that he can slap you with from far away. So I'll probably have to go back to that when I get a little stronger. But apparently some people are beating this game with, level 140. So it seems like there is a lot of room to keep leveling up. Which makes sense, considering there's way more areas, and thus there is way more chances to get runes to level up with. Okay. I thought that was just a magic sword that popped out and it was going to shoot itself at me, but then it exploded. So I've fought plenty of these guys. These, I think these are just Albinorics. They might just be wizards, though. Also, I was a little confused because there are actually 2 different characters I need to find here in Liurna, and they have almost the same name, so I was mixing them up. Which is Renna, who I think is the witch we met in that very first impressions I did, the Moonlight Witch. And then there is also... No, that's Ranni. Renna is the other one. See, I keep mixing those 2 up. I think Renna is the princess, and Ranni is the witch. But the princess also might be a witch. So... it's a little confusing. Okay, so if you see one of these little swords sticking out of the ground, that's a landmine, I guess. A magical landmine. This game has a bunch of things that just explode or blow up when you step on them. There's gas mines that will poison you, and then there's also those, like, rune snakes that are crawling around near the ghouls. Some of them are just a pile of rocks that will blow up, and it does a lot of damage. And there's a whole dungeon that's just full of them, just to fuck you over. There's a lot of hands down there. And even more fingers. This is a perfect opportunity to spy on the hand, though. God, it's so creepy. I heard people mentioning something about a hand monster, but I didn't think that was here. And they're just giant, like, severed hands, too. This game really has a thing for fingers, but I guess that makes sense when, you know, the main thing that we're after is itself a ring to go on a finger. The Elden Ring. Okay, it's gonna cast at me. Oh, it's a binding spell. Thankfully, this tree protects me. It hit me and it did no damage. I was like, oh, is it just gonna explode? Yeah, I need to get some distance here so I can stomp. Hoarfrost Stomp is really powerful, and it came with this axe, which is why I've been using it. Though the axe itself is pretty powerful. Oh, fuck. I thought I dodged it, and then it AoE'd the wall behind me. Am I dead? Yeah. I rolled, and I was just like, no, I'm fine. And then it just hits the wall behind me. So it looks like our first major obstacle is just going to be a field of hands. You know, we're in like the lawn area of Caria Manor. But again, whose hands are these? Because I've yet to see anything that has hands this big to cut off and turn into an animate guardian. There's one behind me. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna roll towards that so that it doesn't fucking hit me from behind. They're not even worth a lot of runes. But, as I've said before, I think, the difficulty of an enemy doesn't really seem to correlate to how many runes it gives you. Some very difficult enemies will give you very little runes, and some very easy bosses will give you a huge amount of runes if they happen to be in one of the later areas. Which is nice, because it means that you can still level up without intense struggle. Okay. Unlike many enemies in this game, the giant hand does not seem to have a way to hit you if you're behind it. Because there are so many bosses, especially, that have some kind of, oh, you're standing behind me, I'm just going to smash the ground behind me move. That ability is so good for groups, too. Like, when there are a bunch of things chasing you, you give them a stomp, and not only does it do a bunch of damage, but it staggers them for a second. So I've mostly been using the Hoarfrost axe lately, but I've also been switching back to my Great Epee for certain things, because that has better range, and it is better for stagger breaks, whereas this is just better for kind of general damage. Though that is leveled up to, I think, plus 15 now, and this is only plus 7, because this is one of the boss or special weapons. Ice Crest Shield. That actually might be useful later. Don't know if we're going to run into a lot of ice here. Another weapon I did find that I want to use, but I don't have the stats for, is the Moonveil Katana. This is like an int dex katana that shoots lasers. Maybe I can't do it because I don't have the stats for it. Because it's supposed to like shoot a beam when you do this. But I think because I don't have the 23 int, it's no good for me. But I did pick up a couple of dex weapons that I might try using, like the Godskin Peeler, which is counting as a twin blade, even though it's technically two different weapons stuck together. But there's a couple different twin blades you can get. Alright, where's my axe? Oh, I called it Hoarfrost. That's just the ability, Hoarfrost Stomp. It's actually the Ice Rind Hatchet, which you get fairly early into the game, if I remember correctly. Or you have the possibility of getting it fairly early. For about 1 second, I was like, are those eggs coming out of the ground? And then I was like, nope, those are fingernails. Uh-oh. That was a waste. I doubled healed. I'm trapped in like a small divot. Were they gonna drop fingers? Nope. Somber smithing stones. That's not too bad. Those are what you use to level up the special weapons like this hatchet. Okay, so watch out for hand mines as well, not just land mines. It's a cool kind of ethereal area, but it's surprising that there's not more stuff here. Maybe this isn't a legacy dungeon. Maybe it's only Ryle Caria. That sounds, yep, like one dropping down on me. Okay, that hits pretty hard. I am finding that as I'm getting later into the game with harder enemies, poise breaking is not as effective as it was before. Like, it takes a lot more hits of fully charged heavy attack to break the poise on enemies. And I've heard that this game can be pretty brutal if you are purely melee by the end of the game and not using, like, you know, a faith weapon or a magic weapon. At least they do want you to invest some points into faith, arcane, or int. And I did start putting points into int. I might put a few more in just so I can use some of that stuff, because apparently even if you only focus on one of the scaling stats for a weapon, it'll still end up being more powerful with magic damage than it would be to just purely have a strong dex scaling weapon. And you can still respec too, so I might do that as well. I picked up a few of the respec items. I don't know where you use them, but I assume I can do it already. God, that's so strong. Kind of overpowered, really, but I'll take what I can get. It doesn't work on everything. Yeah, I don't think heavy attacks are the way to go with these guys. The regular attack does enough damage that I don't really need it. Also, the heavy attack has very short range. Okay. So I probably want to go back and... God damn it. Probably want to go back and refill my flasks now that we've kind of cleared the courtyard. Well, that'll also fill up my flasks, and we can just go this way. I also find there's a lot more enemies now that are not interruptible just by hitting them, because, you know, weaker enemies, you give them a good slap, and they will be stunned for a second to prevent them from attacking. So if you just spam attack, it'll kind of stun lock them if you're just fighting one guy. However, I'm finding that's not... God damn it. I think I just walked into the exact same one, too. Okay, well, again, being behind it is its weak spot. So we should stick to that strategy. They attack pretty quick when you're in front of them. Not sure what these ethereal speckles in the air are in this area. Are they just bits of glintstone? No item ahead, thanks. Now it says I can summon, which means there's either a lot of enemies ahead or a boss. You know, I was kind of hoping there'd be more going on here than just hands, but again, we still have half of the actual grounds to cover before we get into the manor. Yeah, that's a trap. Oh, there we go. There's a stagger. Right in the meat where the wrist would be. These are so worthless to kill, too. They're going to be 27 runes. So far, not too difficult. I don't really know how we get up on the wall where that spell was presumably coming from. Like, we'd have to... Well, actually, this might be it right as I said it. We have to find a way up there so that we can take him out. Wow, that has such big range. But again, I'm protected by the wall. Well, I guess if you need to farm smithing stone or somber stones too, this is the place to do it. So I don't really need very many 2s. I think I need either more 1s or more 3s. I kind of wish they hadn't just put a number next to everything to show its tier, instead of before where they had, like, you know, Titanite Chunk, Titanite Shard. It just feels a little more clinical to have just, like, Somber Smithing Stone bracket 1. But I guess the reason for it is probably because the levels go a lot higher in this. I think you go up to, like, tier 9 stones. Well, we finally found a interior. What does this ghost have to say? Lady Ranni, we have long awaited you. I pray for your house's swift revival. May the full moon shine upon Caria. So I guess we know which of the people I was looking for is up here. Somewhere. Item ahead. Liar ahead. Item ahead. I already read that one. Ah, seems familiar. Hold on, did I have an option to talk there? No. Sometimes you can talk to your maiden. No, I don't know if that's just progress specific or area specific. I don't know if she ever has something to say about the place that you are. Seems like she does when you're near the churches, at least. Okay. We should be able to find our asshole spellcaster up here that was shooting arrows from above. There's definitely also a lot more, like, palette swap enemies in this game than previous Souls games. Like how there's the same knights and soldiers for every one of the lords, but with a different elemental attack. But it also makes sense, because, again, they had a lot more game to fill out with enemies. And within the lore, it makes sense as well for them to reuse them. Trap on the left there. Okay, 3 of them spawn behind me. This is where the stomp comes in handy. I'm just gonna run past everybody. I like how the ghosts still drop smithing stones, just like the normal guys do. He just keeps spawning more ghosts. Okay, how close are we to the front wall? Looks like we have to curve around to get to the front wall, which is down there. I think I'm a little too high to drop. Yeah, there's a big gap. And what about here, though? That looks like it wants me to drop there, but that doesn't feel like a survivable fall. I guess let's see what's up here first. Okay, elevator shortcut. But it goes up, so it's not much of a shortcut. Sure there's nothing around here. So this area has like the slightest touch of Bloodborne, because you do go to some very like aristocratic areas there, but I think Raya Lucaria itself is probably more akin to the Academy in Bloodborne. Okay, well this is getting into a whole new set of stuff. So before we do that, let's get back down here. I really need a shield that can block magic better. Yeah, none of these really do more than like 52. This one is 55. Where's that ice shield we picked up? That's pretty much the same. Boosts magic damage negation and resistance to frost. Well, that's not what this tells me, unless that's an extra thing. Okay, so it wants me to drop down here. Rolling. I was really expecting that to snap off as well. Rhymed Crystal Bud. That's where we were before. I keep very faintly hearing one of those dung beetles. This is just a dead end. There's an item under the stairs. There's usually at least an item whenever there's an area of this size like this. There's not a lot of just pointless dead ends. Though sometimes there are, and people love to put messages about it in those dead ends. Like, no item here. Urumi. What is that? It looks like some kind of whip sword, which would be a dex weapon. Yeah, it is a whip. This weapon, made of extremely thin, flexible blades of metal, is wielded like a whip by knightfolk warriors. Though in essence a whip with a cutting edge, it can also be used as a spear to pierce foes. Let's see how that works. Yeah, so it's kind of what you'd expect by looking at it. It's a whip spear. I'm surprised it doesn't have like a spinning attack. Hold on, do the... You know, that would probably be fun to use, but last I remember, whips are not very good in Souls games. They're usually like a gimmick haha weapon. The dex scaling is pretty decent without any levels, though, so I might put a few points into that. I've definitely picked up, like I said, some dex weapons that would be fun to try. It just feels like I'm far enough in the game that if I want to use any other weapons, I'm going to have to grind a bunch of souls to... I keep saying souls. A bunch of runes in order to buy the smithing stones to get them to a decently usable level. Like, you know, my great epee is plus 15. I guess plus 25 is the highest you can level a regular weapon. So it's got a ways to go still, but there's other stuff I've started putting points into. These claws are like plus 8. I wanted to put some points into this flail as well, so I had the blood loss weapon still. Other than the claws. Godskin Peeler. I've also noticed, I looked at a few weapons, just the upgrade trees, and it looks like some of them will actually gain bleed towards the end of their upgrade path. Like, they don't start with bleed buildup, but then they will gain it later on. Where is my hatchet? So yeah. Even more so than previous Souls games, it feels like, oh no, not one of these things. It feels like there is a huge variety of weapons, even for specific builds. So these things are, I guess they're war machines, and it's basically a living Iron Maiden. It will try to stuff you into its chest and consume you, but it also has these big blade wheels. This is going to be a hard place to fight it, though, because its main attack is this charge forward it's about to do. Yeah, see, it tries to grab you with its, like, snaky arms that come out. It seems to take a lot more damage when the chest is open, though. So, like, right after one of those attacks, you get in there and finish it off. It's all fleshy on the inside. There's another variant that has, like, big guillotine blades instead of spinning blades. And I don't think I've managed to kill one of those. Only the spinning blades variant. Okay, I'm not seeing whoever was shooting arrows at us. Maybe that's just like an automated defense system for the manor. Keep out the pores. And I can't use Torrent up here. I'm pretty sure you actually can't summon Torrent on any stone, but that seems inconsistent in my tests. Like, sometimes even when I'm just out and about, I'll try to summon him, and he'll do the, like, oh, can't do it. Also, is there... We didn't open any kind of shortcut back. Nah, I've still got plenty of flasks, though, so let's just book it back up the hill. Avoid the fingernail mines. Like that one. I misjudged the direction of the hand on that. How did that miss? I was very sure I was in the explosion radius there. And just like that, some enemies will avoid the initial stomp, only to walk onto the part where it explodes. And I think the explosion does a lot more frost buildup than just the regular first hit. Alright, let's head back up to that elevator now. Actually, probably just warp up there, can't I? It's nice being able to warp anywhere except inside of caves. It makes it a lot less tedious to just explore around and be like, okay, I already found the grace there, so now I can just backtrack and see what else I can find, and then come back here later. And like Stormvale Castle turned out to be a pretty complicated area. I had to do a lot of backtracking around to find everything, and I still ended up not finding anything when the person I was watching went and found some other stuff that I didn't see. Golden Seed. Large wolf. This wolf has a lot of health. And either him or me is going to go off this cliff in a second. Or not. So, I believe that this area over here we have to go through the manor to get to. So that's a little bit extra exploration that is beyond the manor. There's also this whole plateau over here you can't actually get to. Apparently you need to do some NPC quest progress in order to get up here. Like this right here is actually in a cave underneath this whole plateau. So that's one of the reasons that I gotta complete these two areas before I move on looking for other shard bearers. That wolf just jumped through me. That wasn't even an attack, that was like a dodge. I don't know what this effect on me is. I assume it's from my talisman, where consecutive attacks do more damage. Because yeah, every like combo hit I get consecutively will actually do more damage than the previous one. And I've stopped using the steel health on crits because crits are getting harder to get, so it doesn't feel as useful now as it did before. Now that looks like a boss, but I've also seen at least one of these guys around. It's basically just like a knight version of the trolls. And looks like there's nowhere else to go. Oh, no, never mind. Hold that thought. Looks like we can sneak up here and take out the support wizards. Possibly even get a sneak attack on this big fella. Or just get around him completely. Hello? Someone just took a swing at me. Where'd you come from? Shitty noble. Hello? Who is this guy? I don't think I've seen one of these before. Oh, he's got a greatsword. A magic greatsword. The regular sword version of that attack is hard enough to deal with. Actually, I think I have one of my summons of these guys. They're just like high-level sorcerers. So, it seems I could skip Mr. Knight entirely, but I bet he dropped something. Looks like we're getting close to that beetle, which means it's probably up on the wall. I don't think he can hit me here. I kind of hope he can't hit me, but he might be able to magic me. Also, this might be a enemy where we want to use stance breaks. He has mostly the same moves as the trolls, but he also has spells. Thank you. I need to target his legs. I didn't think he had a follow-up to that. I should have expected it, though, because, like, every fucking enemy in this game has at least 3 or 4 hits in every combo. And some of the bosses end up having, like, combos that just keep going and going. And every time you're like, okay, I think I've avoided it now, another hit comes out. But he is wholly optional, so I can't really even complain. I chose that fight, and I'm going to choose it again. But first I want to take out these damn sorcerers. Fuck your stupid greatsword. Now he immediately turns around and smashes. Nope, that was actually a different attack. He just did it very quickly. Alright, well at least he can bump into the wall still. Trolls are still easy to knock down, even in the stronger form. Yep, that wasn't too bad, but he does indeed drop a weapon. Another greatsword that I probably can't use. And a lazuli glintstone sword, which I also can't use, because they're both probably magic weapons. So yeah, these are all like magic swords I can't use. A sword with a glintstone in its handguards, wielded by scholars of the lazuli conspectus who seek to master Carian's sorcery. Deals magic damage. Apparently, once used as a staff of sorcery, this sword is made of wood. And yeah, you can see it does strength, dex, int. I almost actually have enough to use that. Now, I wonder which one of these is better. Probably this one, as it requires the highest amount of int. And then the Troll Knight's Greatsword. Greatsword embedded with a blue glintstone. Weapons of the trolls in service to the royal family of Caria. Called into service when the queen invoked an oath they swore. The trolls are treated as true knights of Caria, and fight arm in arm with their human comrades. Well, that's weirdly accepting for most of the weird xenophobes in all Souls games. And it is strength 20 in 18. So yeah, that's a magic greatsword or a magic strength wielder. But again, that means that strength int builds have their weapons as well. Oh, I hate these guys. And their casual exploding bolts. Mostly because they're hard to run past. And that one tough boss, or I guess the area leading to that one tough boss I was talking about in that castle up north, I had to run past a bunch of those guys every time. Alright. So that wasn't too bad. Did I check the bushes over here already? I did, while I was talking about great swords. We can either go left or we can go straight. Now, this seems to be a giant round table, or a pool. This looks like a boss arena. This is a boss arena. Alright, we got a ghost knight. Didn't hurt too bad. I really don't like fighting mounted enemies in this game, though, especially when they expect you to use your own horse. It looks like she has actually mostly Tree Sentinel moves. But also these spell casts. Yeah, the magic swords don't do too much. Thing is, the regular Tree Sentinel doesn't bother me anymore because I fought the fucking mega AoE lightning Tree Sentinel, who is so much worse by comparison. See, that's where I'm regretting the range on the heavy attack. I don't even really need to use it. Regular attack does a lot of damage, sure. I think the number of swords is increasing. Just like fighting Virgil. Ooh. That was a quick cast. Somebody's got high dex. Oh no, not the great bow. That fucking wizard. I finally killed that wizard that I think I showed in the last adventure. Ooh. Yeah, that's a killer right there. That second one hit me, I think it would have been the end. Loretta's Great Bow and Loretta's Slash. Alright. Decent boss, not too tough. I guess it's because of fights like that I end up surprised when I hit a boss that just hits back way harder than I expected. Okay, that's 25,000, so I should have almost enough to level up. What are we at now? Yeah, 28,000, so I'll grab a few more runes and I should be alright. And here it looks like we have a giant version of those star shard catchers. They're like falling star catching dishes. Why is it always enemy? However, there does not seem to be anything around it. Could this be a precious item? Let's seek jump attack. So I can't do anything with this, right? I hear something large beyond the wall. I mean, this seems like the exit should be here to get out to that area. But I'm not seeing another way out. Oh, there's actually one back here. Never mind. I am now seeing a way out. 3 sisters. Okay, so this is the area they were talking about then. I think that's a dragon over there. That might have been the stomping I was hearing. Yep, that might actually be another Glintstone Dragon. Oh man, there's a whole other area out here. Or is there? Nope. That's just a big old pit. Are those moonlight rays coming down? Okay, so I think Renna is here, or Ranni is here somewhere. One of the two. And there's also this area over here I can't get to from here. And this area. So, I guess we are doing a bit of exploring outside the manor after all. But I should go back and first check that one corner, because there was one other door before we went into the boss fight. But yeah, I kind of expected this to be bigger, so I guess it's not a legacy dungeon. It is just a regular dungeon. But I think a lot of my quests right now with NPCs require me to do something here in order to progress a bunch of them. So we should meet some folks while we're here. I'm still hearing that damn dung beetle. Actually, what is going on down there? There's a jar down there. I guess we'll jump down so we can warp back. So close to falling off. Okay, took a bit of fall damage. Are you gonna kill me? These guys are of varying hostility. Ow. Well. There's even a whole village of them. Jarsburg. And none of the jar people there are hostile. I'm also fairly certain that the cracked pots that you find in order to craft, like, throwing bombs and stuff are actually just, like, baby versions of these. Because you always find them around these guys. It's a beautiful thing. Alright, can I at least jump back up? They have to have expected you to get knocked off, right? Can't use torrent, so I can't just jump back up. Well, he's coming to me. There was also a dungeon full of these guys. And it gave me the Ashes of War. Or not the Ashes of War, the Summon Ashes. Where is it? Nope, not the giant rats. The Soul Jars of Fortune Ashes. So you can't tell me that Souls games don't have a sense of humor to them. Beyond just people asking if every single animal in the game is a dog. I wonder why ice is so powerful. Because people were saying, like, late game, if you're going to go melee, you pretty much have to have a bleed weapon. But ice seems to just be, like, bleed, but so much better. Okay, what are we working our way to? This is... Did we find that ladder? I feel like we didn't find that ladder. It looks like there's an item over here, so I think that's what we're going for. On top of this little gatehouse. Ashes of War, Carian Grandeur. Is that another summoned sword spell? Could this be tree? Nah. Alright, well I think that's most of what you can get in Caria Manor. It's a shame that the boss wasn't something really weird. It was just like a regular-ass knight, but a ghost. Alright, let's take a look around Three Sisters before we wrap up. Just kind of hoping that'd be more of an adventure of its own, though. Okay, well, here's Renna's Rise, not Ranni. Blocked shut for now. AKA, come back later. When someone tells you to come back here. This is a cliff over here. You know, I could probably get up there. I think there's at least one of these towers that I managed to get in without doing the intended thing, because I didn't have the right gesture, just by using the horse. Yep, that is definitely a dragon. And it looks like a Glintstone Dragon, though it's got bigger spines than the other one did. So maybe it's an Elder Dragon. I'm gonna laugh if, like, every building in this area is blocked off by magic. Ranni's Rise, okay. They both have their own rises. Is she gonna be here? Hello? Anyone? Oh, there's a Grace here. Presumably so I can warp back here. Not really much of a view. If you can't see anything. I kind of love how anytime you see another player ghost using an elevator, they're never synced with you, so they just float away. Or, like, sink into the ground. And this might actually be a rough place to fight that dragon, or maybe not. Because there's a lot of stuff to get in the way, whereas the other one I fought is very much in the open. We might take a stab at that one before the end here, just to see if I can. And there she is. Wow, I know I said that we'd probably never meet again, but I really didn't think you'd ever get here.
Oh, again we cross paths. I believe I said my name was Renna when last we met.
It's not actually, though.
It pleaseth me to see Torrent hale and hearty, but tarnished. What business hast thou here? I have no memory of inking thee an invitation.
Rude. You must be Ranni the Witch, behind the Knight of the Black Knives. Well, that is a thing I know.
I see. Quite the sleuth, aren't we? Indeed, I am the witch.
I may or may not have caused the
I
shattering
stole a
oopsie
fragment
doopsie.
of the rune of death, and used it to forge the god-slaying black knives through fearsome rite. I did it all. But sadly for thee, The curse mark thou seekest is not to be found here. I have slain the body I was born into and cast it away. And it is upon that flesh the curse mark is carved.
Well, that's inconvenient. Where did you cast it away? Because it's probably alive.
And why should I reveal that to thee? I performed the act not to bury the past, nor in shame of the deed. But all the same, thy begging compels me not a jot. The curse mark thou seekest is not here. That is all I will say. Now, be gone.
What is the inside of her hat made
The
of?
curse mark now.
Come on, I came all this
The
way. You
curse
can tell me
mark.
something more useful than that. Stop being so vague. Can't even, like, look at her face because you have to stand up to use the spyglass. Oh, there we go. You could just peek that one functional eye. She does actually kind of look like she's inhabiting a corpse mannequin or something from that neck. And the hands are kind of stitched on. She's kind of fucked up. So, when she's not going around saying vague things to people, she just sits here on this chair, doing nothing. Wait, Tarnished. I actually wanted you to ask more because my life is really boring. So I guess that's kind of a major story point, but, like, I almost feel like nothing in the Souls game can really be counted as a spoiler, because it doesn't make any sense without the rest of the context around it. Like, you kind of need enough pieces to understand any of the given lore events, even though this game is a little more direct about its lore. But only a little. Alright, so that wasn't very helpful. But I'm pretty sure I needed to talk to her before I could find that body. Like, it's out in the world now that I talked to her. Okay, so there's this area down here. You know, I actually didn't try the ice axe against the other dragon. I only used my epee. You want to go, bro? Oh, this one's purplish? Ooh, that does good damage. That's new. That's actually not too bad. It flew away. Well, fuck. I thought it was just going invisible and it was gonna, like, spray me with fire while invisible, but no, it looks like it just teleported away. It's gotta be around here somewhere, though. I don't see it. Well, that was fairly easy. I don't know. Every time I encounter a dragon, I think it's gonna be stronger than it actually is. I bet that fungus dragon isn't even as strong as I keep telling myself it is. Because I'm like, oh yeah, there's no way I can go back and just beat that. Saluvis Rise. Blocked shut for now. Hey Ranni, how do I open your other siblings' powers? Alright, well, I guess that's kind of all I can do here for now. I was pretty sure that Blythe is supposed to be here somewhere, too. My wolf-headed buddy. But I'm not seeing him. It might be that I have to make more progress with Ronnie's quest first. Actually, it looks like I probably just go up this tower. That's how I got into the other one. I just climbed the wall and then double jumped across. Black wolf mask. Speaking of blood, that looks a lot like his head. Okay, so can't get in there either. I can't get in there. Locked shut for now. There's a treasure chest in there. Guessing by the bloodstains, I can't just jump off. A little too high. A mask fashioned after the head of a black wolf, relic of an assassin who assumed the guise of Ranni the Witch's loyal shadow. The likeness is striking. I wonder if we're talking about the same guy. Wow, this is actually pretty decent. It's better than what I'm wearing right now. I don't really know what the categories are here. Like, clearly there's different categories. I guess it's like hat, helmet, hood, mask, other kind of mask, hood, hood. Yeah, it does look pretty similar. I do like that you can just put a whole ass octopus on your head. It's like, yep, can't see shit. It's even got a little beak. But it's not very good. So, you know, I would use this for its stats, but honestly, it's kind of goofy looking. I'm already a hobo knight. I don't need to be a hobo knight wearing a dead wolf's head. Okay, well, I guess that's all I can do up here for now. Unless I can get over here. Or over here. Though, actually, it kind of looks like I'd be better off jumping off from here. Because I don't think we saw a way from, like, here to get down. Actually, travel back to this Grace and see if there's a way down. Gotta figure out which direction. Okay, apparently I'm gonna go straight and then to the right, which is not an option because I have to go left. This is all wall. I gotta say, it's not the same as with these wolves, but From Software seem to have really hit on the best way to make super annoying dog enemies all the way back in Demon Souls, because the dogs in this game still use the exact same attack animations as they did all the way back then, and they're still just as annoying at interrupting your attacks. So, congrats From on nailing that formula pretty early. Yeah, there's, I think, just too much castle wall here for me to get around. So I'm going to try checking behind here, but then I think we're going to wrap up because we've been going for like an hour again, and we saw some stuff, we fought a boss, we tried to fight another boss, and we fucked off. I'm noticing he's not here anymore, so it's not like he respawns here with full health if you don't kill him in one life. Yeah, I'm going to try circling around the manor and see if there's anything back here. So yeah, I'm still having a lot of fun with this game. Still occasionally running into barriers, but it's been fairly smooth. I haven't hit that massive difficulty spike that people have talked about in the late game. Because I guess I'm not really at the late game yet, since I don't have any of the great runes. Frozen armament. Oh, skeletons. Well, there must be something over here, because there's a grace. So this might actually lead to that other area on the map. Should have enough to level up now. I am short by like 13. I'm just going to use one of my little crappy runes. Level up. I don't really know what I want to level up at this point. I don't think it's worthwhile to level up Dex beyond this because the scaling is starting to hit that point where it's really kind of useless and you get like 2 points of damage for leveling up. So I might start putting points into Int just so I can unlock some of the weapons that I don't have access to. Otherwise, it's going to be, you know, Vigor and Endurance and occasionally Mind just to get more FP. I almost have enough FP to summon some of those stronger spirits I have, but the spirits seem kind of crap until you level them up or upgrade them. Maybe I'll put a point into Int for now. I don't think I'm ever going to be a spellcaster, but I might at least be able to use some magic weapons. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of stuff over here, though. Just some big rocks. I think that's the Great Lift of Dectus over there. Which, you know, what a disappointment that they make it out to be this big deal about getting the discs to activate it, and then you just go up a cave next to it instead. And fight an interesting boss. Okay, what is this lake area down here? I guess I can get there just by going around Caria. I didn't even want to go over there before, because I was like, oh, that probably will trigger stuff in the manor, so I don't want to touch on any of that until I do a video. But I've definitely been recording a lot of these pretty rapidly, because I am just kind of making a lot of progress in the game. What is that? That is a orange wolf. What is your deal, Orange Wolf? He's also got a very long tail, and he hits very hard. I cannot hit him. I just keep timing it so badly that I'm missing. Okay, the wolf also shoots swords. I have found my magic wolf. Because before I said that, oh, all the wolves in this game are pretty normal. They're not, like, monsters or anything. Oof, that's the dragon's attack. So this is an enemy that I would rather use the epee against because it has range. And I feel like I keep missing because of how short range the swings are. Toughest wolf in the game. Honestly, I'm surprised there isn't a Sith boss in this game. There might be one, but I don't think there is. Apparently there is a lot of referential stuff in this, though. Shit. I should have waited till the sword went before trying to heal. So yeah, I don't know what the deal with this wolf is. Just a tough wolf. Probably drop something useful too. Alright, very last thing. I saw some of those rune snakes, which means there is another prison over here. So let's see what's hiding in there, and then we'll call that a day. But it's been a while since I've had this much fun with this kind of game. You know, I enjoy the Souls games well enough, but I usually tend to take breaks during my playthrough and come back to it like a month or two later. Hence why it's taken me so long to finish Scholar of the First Sin. I hope this is not a Royal Revenant. But with this game, I haven't felt that kind of exhaustion where I need to take a break and come back to it later. Oh, I've already fought one of these guys. I fought the Onyx Lord. He's just a guy that uses gravity magic. Like how he just bunched me away there. Yeah, this is his one big spell as he summons meteors. Which is very easy to avoid by walking sideways. I noticed that he seems to have a stronger version where they are flaming meteors instead of just regular ones. I interrupted his cast. So you can just bully him with heavy attacks. At this point in the game, most of the crucibles I've found, or not crucibles, most of the Gales that I've found have been fairly easy. I think the one that gave me the most trouble was Godefroy. And he gives you the meteorite spell. Alright, that was pretty easy. So, thanks for joining me for another Elden Ring Adventure, if you're still sticking around for these. I'd be surprised if people are, but you never know. Someone might actually enjoy seeing me discover this stuff. So, until the next one, you tarnished all take care.